Oh, come on. They're just filming a TV show. What's so bad about that?
God, I'm totally starving.
Yeah, I could do with some scarfage.
Hey, what's with the ruckus? Watch your cups! Don't walk on my grill!
Just ignore us. We want to be as unobtrusive as possible.
Good day and good night. Welcome to the High and Low Retrospective. Today we're talking about Mission Hill, the late 90s gem that showed us what happens when you combine sharp wit, indie charm, and just a sprinkle of chaotic millennial energy. It's the show that packed more heart and humor into 13 episodes than some series managed in 13 seasons, let's be honest.
Who are you talking to right now?
Today we're diving deep into the short but brilliant life of Mission Hill. Let's talk creation, reception, little-known facts, and why this cult classic faded before it had the chance to truly shine. The year was 1999. The world was on the brink of a new millennium, and creators Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein, the dynamic duo behind some of the Simpsons' greatest hits, decided it was time to break out and make something fresh. They wanted a show about the lives of young adults in the city, capturing the clash between idealistic 20-somethings and, well, everything else. Enter Mission Hill. Set in the fictional cosmopolitan neighborhood of Cosmopolis, it followed Andy French, a slacker with big dreams and no follow-through, who suddenly finds himself guardian to his nerdy, overachieving teen brother Kevin. Rounding out the cast were Andy's eccentric roommates, Posey the laid-back bohemian, and Jim the lovable tech geek, and a supporting lineup of eclectic, often hilariously bizarre neighbors. Andy French, he was voiced by the one and only Wallace Langham, who nailed that perfect mix of being sarcastic and secretly sentimental. And then there's Kevin. Kevin was brought to life by Scott Menville, whose wide-eyed enthusiasm made him the ultimate geeky little brother. The rest of the cast was equally talented and effectual too, including Vicki Lewis as the perpetually fanciful Posey, and Jane Weedland of the Go-Go's fame, who played Gwen, Andy's on-again and off-again girlfriend. And who can forget the hilariously monotone delivery of Brian Posehn as Jim? It was a masterclass in breathing life into character. Here's where it gets interesting. Mission Hill wasn't just about the characters, it was about the vibe. Oakley and Weinstein, inspired by their love for cities like San Francisco, Boston, and New York, worked with designer Lauren McMullen to create a world that felt alive. The animation was vibrant, blending retro and futuristic aesthetics with a bold color palette that practically screamed, "This is not your typical sitcom." The humor, well, it was sharp, razor sharp. The show tackled everything from corporate drudgery to gentrification, mixing absurdity with authenticity. Take episode 9, for example, where Andy faces the disillusionment of youth in corporate America, or episode 4, when Andy's accidental appearance on MTV's The Real World turns into a hilariously awkward debacle. The show resonated with anyone who'd ever chased a dream, felt out of place, or wondered how the rent would get paid. But here's the kicker, it was also ahead of its time, like way ahead. Mission Hill aired during a transitional era for television, and its target audience, millennials, was still in high school or middle school. It's like dropping an indie album before anyone knows what indie is.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, speaking of indie, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the music. Mission Hill's soundtrack was a time capsule of late 90s indie rock. It was practically a character within itself, filled with eclectic tracks that captured the energy and ethos of the 90s and early 2000s, featuring bands like Cake, Eels, and Ben Folds 5. Every piece of music was carefully curated to enhance the storytelling. The theme song, a remix of Cake's Italian Leather Sofa, set the perfect tone, quirky, unconventional, and unforgettable. The background score often featured tracks by lesser-known artists, giving the show an underground indie vibe that resonated with its cult following. It wasn't just background noise, it was the heartbeat of Cosmopolis. So why did Mission Hill get the axe? Well, I mentioned before it was ahead of its time, for one. Adult animated shows like Family Guy and Futurama were just starting to carve out space on TV, but the WB's audience wasn't ready for something like this. And let's be real, the late 90s was a rough time for experimental shows that didn't fit neatly into a box. The WB was getting big on teen dramas like Dawson's Creek, not quirky adult animation. Despite its critical acclaim, Mission Hill struggled with ratings. Maybe blame it on poor scheduling. Again, it aired on the WB, a network known for teen dramas, more so than edgy animation. Either way, it was canceled after just 5 episodes aired. 5. The remaining 8 episodes eventually saw the light of day in syndication, but by then, the damage was done. But here's the thing about cult classics, they never truly die. Mission Hill found a second life on Adult Swim and in DVD sales, where it connected with the audience it was always meant for. Fans fell in love with its unapologetic weirdness and heartfelt storytelling. And to this day, people still ask, why didn't it last longer? Could it come back? Now, before we wrap up, let me hit you with some interesting facts. I don't know if you knew this, but Mission Hill was originally titled The Downtowners. It was the official title of the project back in mid-1998 when the WB first announced it would be airing the series. By that time, MTV had already gone into production with a similarly titled adult animated series called Downtown, so Oakley and Weinstein were forced to change the name of the project to Mission Hill. Another interesting fact, Mission Hill is one of the earliest examples of an animated show having openly gay characters. Gus and Wally portrayed with love and humor, not stereotypes. Another interesting fact, Oakley and Weinstein had plans for future seasons that would dive deeper into the characters' lives. Posey becoming a cult leader, I don't know, maybe. Kevin exploring romance. Jim just being Jim. In 2020, Oakley and Weinstein planned a spin-off centering on Gus and Wally, the middle-aged gay couple who lived next door to Andy and Kevin. This news excited fans of the original series, but the excitement would be short-lived when development halted in 2023, confirmed in a tweet by Oakley. So, why should you care about a show that lasted barely a season? Mission Hill captured something special. The messy, colorful, unpredictable beauty of city life and young adulthood. It was bold, it was funny, and it's a reminder that sometimes the best art isn't about how long it lasts, it's about the impact it leaves. So, here's to Mission Hill. Short-lived but never forgotten. If you haven't seen it, go find it. Trust me, it's worth the watch. And don't forget to click on the like button, subscribe, join us again for more deep dives into shows, movies, and music from yesterday. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and don't let Stogie eat your favorite pair of Jordans.